Today, I introduced legislation to decriminalize single sport betting in Canada.
Last week, the federal government introduced legislation that will potentially make single game sports betting legal. Here to talk about that potential legislation, we have Niagara Centre Vance Badawey. Welcome to the program, Vance.
Thanks, Mike. It's truly been a team effort. When I say a team effort, I mean all sides of the House. The NDP, the Conservatives, us Liberals, getting our heads together. I know I've been working with Kevin Waugh from the Conservatives, Brian Massey from the NDP. I'm really trying to navigate this through the House and bring it to the floor. There's no doubt, well overdue. Specific to Niagara, Niagara, as you know, is home to diverse activities, including world-class destinations that attracts millions a year. And single event sport betting will add to that menu of things to do here in Niagara, as well as not only bring people here and keep them longer, but also bring them back, and hopefully they can take advantage of a lot of the attractions that we have here, now this being another attraction that they can take full advantage of.
When you envision what it actually looks like, where would these bets be placed? Would there be a betting parlor kind of situation?
Well, the legislation is something that we pass at the federal level. Bill C-13 will be hitting the floor next week. So we hope to have this legislation in place during Q1 of 2021. And then following that, it's up to the provinces. It's up to the provinces how they want to bring it forward, where they want it, whether it's within the casinos, whether it's in parlors. That'll be up to them.
Why did it take so long? I have some friends down in the United States. They've seen this news and they said, wow, they're finally getting into the modern age.
It's, I can't answer that. It's before my time. I know from what I hear, one time it died in the Senate. Another time it just died on the floor. It's been a desire by many MPs and senators to actually get this put through. I wrote a report back at the beginning of last year, following discussions they had the years before with different MPs throughout the House, and being the government and getting help from those that were interested in it, especially Brian Massey from the NDP, who was a Windsor MP, and of course he's got an interest because of their situation, very similar to ours here. When I wrote the report, I made it very clear that it's long overdue. It's happening in the States, and to be competitive with those jurisdictions, especially being a border community, to be competitive with those jurisdictions, it was long overdue to get it in place, and therefore we can add to that menu of attractions that we have here in Niagara, as well as Windsor and other jurisdictions throughout Canada.
On a monetary basis, what is this worth? What kind of industry effect does this have?
Well, it's a $14 billion industry, and unfortunately, a lot of those dollars are going to the black market with respect to illegal gambling, and with that, a lot of revenue that was being simply given away, quite frankly. And now that it's legislated, that revenue can now be steered into a right direction. We are now in the business of good government, not the business of good politics, but the business of good government. And we have to ensure that while being in that business, we find, not unlike business in the private sector, we have to find new revenue streams, and this is one. And then therefore, we can take that revenue stream and put it towards our deficit, our debt, as well as other services that we provide to Canadians.
As a member of this federal government, do you expect some backlash from the public? I know there was backlash from some people on the legalization of cannabis. And do you expect some backlash on this legalization as well, if it does come through?
Well, you always get backlash, and it's welcomed. It's on the floor right now. It's going to be entering its first reading, and with that, our expectation is to have that communication. We're a government that communicates, and we listen. And we want to ensure that if there are concerns, we can try and alleviate those concerns as best possible. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of alternative, and what is the alternative? And the alternative hasn't been working out for us, whether it be legally or whether it be practically with respect to the revenue generated and the investments that revenue can be put toward with respect to the services that we're providing. There's a lot of needs out there for middle class Canadians, and those needs elevate daily, especially now in the crisis that we find ourselves in. Secondly, Mike, is the opportunities that present itself post-COVID. You know, we're looking at a lot of new norms, so to speak, and part of that is ensuring that we learn from this crisis and the challenges that we're facing today, to then therefore bounce back even better, and to build back better with respect to our economy and of course our lifestyles. And equally as important is the needs of middle class Canadians, to ensure that they're being looked after. But to do that, it takes a financial commitment and resource commitment. And we find that this can best do that once again by finding a new revenue stream.